We'll be live.
I didn't come up with an opening in time, so that's my opening.
That's a
my...
good opening.
yeah. Nobody can ever say that I don't admit my faults, because right here, right now, I'm letting you know that I failed in my one and only task that I have. So yeah. Sorry about that.
No, I like it. That's a good compromise. Oh, let me actually turn off the Bluetooth on my phone so it doesn't switch. There we go. Fantastic. All right, guys. So we're answering questions. We're answering Patreon question first, and then we're going to look at the live chat and see if we have any super chats, and we're going to answer those. So you could either be a patron and send us your questions ahead of time. Link to that in the description. Or you could just use the super chat function. And then once we're done with the super chats and the Patreon questions, what we do is I'll post a link for anybody that is a member. Actually, let me do that earlier today. To come up and ask your questions live on air. Talk to me on Secular Rarity live. And yeah, so let's get started. We have 3 questions here today. Oh, this one is hot right now. This one is from D. D is saying, now that Fox has admitted to lying, so I don't know if that's necessarily admission. Let me bring this up. Do you think any of the MAGA crowd will come back to reality? No, I don't think so. But so here's I think the news that D is talking about. Fox News lawsuit. Can it afford okay, so they just settled, right? They settled with Dominion.
Yeah.
And they're willing to. They're supposed to pay $787.5 million. That is huge.
That is down by more than half, because remember, Dominion was initially suing Fox News for $1.6 billion. So
yeah, but
they settled a lot lower.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always what you do, is you always,
that's always what you do.
Yeah. But
I mean, usually whatever you get sued for is never usually it's not what you end up paying.
Right.
Usually you start with a number. I'm surprised I was half, I thought half is a lot. Usually the number that you give originally is so ridiculous that it ends up being 1/10 of that. Right. So half, that's huge.
Yeah. But it's a massive settlement. Yeah.
Yeah. This is 10. I think this is 10 times the value of Dominion as a company, the entire.
Oh yeah,
value.
I don't even know. It could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard I heard that's 10. Dominion has just got 10 times. That is more than 10 times more than what they're worth. So that's this is great. This is the best thing that has ever happened to them. They're God. Oh, Lilypad is here. Susie is here. Lilypad is saying yo. Susie is saying, damn, that's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot.
Supposedly, and this is just me just very quickly Googling this, folks. So don't take it as, truth 100%. But supposedly, according to CBS News, in 2020, court filings claimed that Dominion was valued at $226 million. So it is still over 3 freaking times as much as the company is worth, supposedly. So
that's great.
It's very impressive. That is definitely, yeah.
Okay, and what do you think? Do you think they can pay this? I don't know how much cash Fox has.
I think they probably will be able to pay it, and I think we're gonna learn a little bit more over the coming weeks or so. From my very basic understanding on this, because I haven't read through what we know about the settlement just yet. I don't know how much of it is public knowledge, but from my understanding, this is probably going to be one of those settlements where Fox News doesn't actually have to admit any wrongdoing, and Dominion won't be providing any clear evidence that Fox News did any wrongdoing. This is one of those. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's what you do when you settle. You don't admit to anything.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. It depends on the specific settlement and what the judge accepts. But yeah, most of the time, what'll happen is you'll settle and not go to trial so that you don't have to admit any wrongdoing. And I think that potentially could be worse for this instance, because this is one of those things that I think was so egregious on Fox's part that it's not just enough for them to have to pay a symbolic payment, right? Like they knowingly lied, whereas the hosts purposefully continued to say incorrect statements that the hosts themselves are on record as saying they do not believe. Now, this is well beyond any question of First Amendment. This is well beyond any question of slander and libel. This offense that Dominion is suing them for, that started this whole lawsuit. This offense is so egregious that I don't think that just they were convicted, they had to pay money, is maybe gonna provide the good outcomes that I was hoping this would, like, yeah, I really would have enjoyed a play-by-play of all of the ways that Fox News is known to have been, spreading false information, and because I think that maybe would have helped with, just going back to Dee's question, that maybe would have helped more in that sense. Where it stands now, I don't think it's going to change anybody's mind. The people who think Fox News is already lying will think that, and the people who, don't, and they won't change because we didn't get a play-by-play,
Right.
But
yeah. But this also shows that this is the money that they're paying because they think that going through the lawsuit would have been more damaging.
Right.
Like going through that, that would have been huge for them. Like going through and analyzing them, so their brand hit that. So that's their analysis. But again, I agree with you. Like the MAGA people, first of all, they're MAGA, so they don't even care about evidence or fact. Like they believe in QAnon stuff. They believe in the most bizarre conspiracies out there, right? So now we have a settlement. Like we're not even discussing whether we're not even going to go through the evidence and all that stuff, which is a shame. Like as much as I like seeing Fox News having to pay $780 million, it would have been really fun content to watch, right? Like to see them having to explain all of this. But let me actually read it really quickly, see if they can afford this. In a last-minute deal, Fox News has settled a defamation lawsuit. Yeah, and also, guys, people are saying freedom of speech. They have the freedom of speech. Well, yeah, the freedom of speech doesn't cover defamation. So,
right.
Yeah, so that's settled a defamation lawsuit from voting machine firm Dominion over its coverage of the 2020 U.S. election. The network, controlled by media mogul Rupert Murdoch and his family, agreed to pay Dominion $778.5 million. While the payout is large, it means Fox avoids what was billed by some as the defamation trial of the century. However, the network, this is pretty important because this is not over, right? However, the network faces a second similar lawsuit from another election technology firm, Smartmatic. Yeah, so I don't know, like, do you have to pay them as well? Because they're going to drag you through the same thing if you don't, and then this will be a whole waste because you paid them $787 million to avoid going to a court, do trial and stuff. So if you don't pay this one, the first one would be an entire waste. So I guess you have to pay them as well. So, yeah.
Unless they believe that only by connecting the two cases can Smartmatic actually make their case in court. And if the settlement that they've just settled has a non-disclosure aspect to it, then Dominion might be forced to destroy all that evidence, or they might not be legally allowed to provide it. And if Fox News fully believes that the other company can't make their case without pointing to that evidence. But see,
Oh,
I know this is the murky, underbelly of the law and all that good stuff. But this is why rich people
hmm.
get out of facing charges, because they can navigate
Right,
this
right.
garbage. Okay, sorry.
So it says the settlement means that Fox and Dominion can now put the case behind them with both firms being able to claim victory. The reality is, two big companies in this case are by nature risk averse, and anytime you got a jury, it's risky.
Yep.
David Logan, professor of law at Roger Williams University, told the BBC. At almost 800 million, it is one of the biggest ever financial settlements in defamation in a defamation case. It's obviously a significant number. Okay, tell me if they can pay it. However, it's less than half the one
Mhm.
point. Yeah, we know that. It's also sitting. Okay, here.
Yeah.
To put the payout into context, parent company Fox Corporation reported a net income of 1.2 billion for the last
Yeah.
financial year. So that's like half their income of what income, not revenue. So this
Right.
is revenue minus the cost. So they can pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
it's
that
also
next, yeah, that right there.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
also sitting on a large reserve of cash, around 4 billion, according to recent company filings. Okay,
That's the
so yeah,
ticket. That's the
it can
ticket
pay
right
it.
there.
Yeah,
They're not concerned about the payout. And honestly, even at the 1.6 billion, like ultimately it really wouldn't be that much of a problem for them. They would still be able to do that too, because most likely they're not going to be required to pay it all out in one lump sum, right? They're not going to ask
yeah,
for, $500 million all at once, and they're definitely not going to ask for it in cash, right? So it's going to be scheduled payouts over years, um, at certain monetary values, and it's not going to be, it's not as if they just have to literally turn around and just give all the money that they just earned from last year, because
mm,
then they wouldn't be able to, sustain themselves to actually continue paying it all out. But yeah, I really do think it's a shame that we won't have the day in court um, where we actually get to see Fox admitting all of their wrongdoing. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
because I think that's valuable. I just think that really would have been, um, a good thing for the country and the world. Just like, hey guys,
mm,
here's a really good example um, of just flat out garbage. This is not even close to the line how bad this was on this quote unquote news company's uh,
yeah,
coverage. So
yeah. Would have been juicy. Susie also
yeah.
said in live chat. It would have been juicy. Anyways, let's go to this one. Wait, who's
Ooh.
this question from? This one is from Thomas. Okay, so Thomas is asking, why is Robert G. Ingersoll, am I pronouncing this correctly? Ingersoll, yeah. The great agnostic of the 19th century, all but forgotten nowadays, when he was far ahead of his time with regards to women's rights, fought slavery in the Civil War, wow, and his dismantling of religion is the backbone of much of the atheists' argument against religion these days. Yeah, so why is he forgotten?
He's not talked about a lot.
Yeah.
I can just say from my personal experience, he's not someone that is discussed a whole bunch. It could be a lot of different reasons, when it comes to
Mm,
just basic American history. I mean, first off, I would just argue that, like, in the United States doesn't do a great job, anywhere in the country of doing history super well, and definitely not world history. But when it comes to American history, a lot of it in the United States is, it's kind of focused by battles, and
mm,
so you have a lot that's focused on 1776, and you
Yeah.
have more probably than is necessary focused on 1812, and you have a good bit focused on 1860, and then we've got World War I that comes around the corner in the early 1900s, and it could just be because of that, because of the fact that Ingersoll, his life is in between the Civil War and World War I. And that age in the United States is often referred to as the Gilded Age. The reasoning because things were still pretty crappy, but we did a little bit of stuff that made it seem a little bit nicer. So it could just be a consequence of literally just the time, just where he is in American history is a weird part for us, and we don't do a good job of talking about it. Like, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you finish.
I was just gonna bet anybody in the live chat that's grown up in the United States, went through education, then to name any one of the presidents in the Gilded Age, like, because most people couldn't, even though some of them are really well known, But
so I did. I cheated. I went and asked ChatGPT
oh my
about
gosh,
this.
how dare you?
Okay.
How dare you use technology, Armin, to advance your
So
intelligence?
yeah. So let's look at what ChatGPT says. Okay. Robert G. Ingersoll, often known as the Great Agnostic, was an influential American orator, a lawyer, and freethinker during the 19th century. His progressive views on women's rights. By the way, you're welcome, woman. Like, it was men who fought for you. Like, you wouldn't be able to be this free and have all these rights because if it wasn't for men like Robert G. Ingersoll. So you're welcome. I you know, as a man will accept you
You
thanking
accept
all of
that.
yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
take that. I got
I'll take that. Yes. Okay. So his progressive views on women's rights, opposition to slavery, and critiques of religion were certainly ahead of his time. However, there are several reasons why Ingersoll may not be as well remembered today as other historical figures. So ChatGPT just gave me 5 answers, which is
Ooh. Yeah, let's see
pretty
let's see what
impressive.
it says.
So, number 1, historical context. The late 19th century was a time of significant social. This is your answer. This is pretty good. Significant social, political, and scientific change. Ingersoll
Yeah.
was one of many thinkers advocating for progressive reforms, and his
Mhm.
contributions, while important, were part of a larger movement. Over time, collective memory tends to focus on a few key figures, and Ingersoll's contributions may have been overshadowed by those of others. This is very impressive for ChatGPT to put this together.
Yeah.
Like, how that's pretty. I know, I'm very impressed. Okay, so yeah, that's number 1. Number
Okay.
2, the decline of oratory uh, as an art form. Oratory, yeah,
That's
right,
fair.
yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's fair. That's a fair
Ingersoll
thing.
was Yeah, so he explains Ingersoll was primarily known for his powerful oratory skills. By the way, saying oratory really puts your oratory skills up to task.
Yeah.
So, as technology has advanced and other forms of communications have become more prevalent, the art of, here it comes again, oratory has lost. Am I saying this correctly?
You are.
Has
You are.
lost. Okay, yeah,
I'm just
has
happy that
lost
you're
some of
excited about this word.
has lost some of its cultural significance. This decline may have contributed to Ingersoll's diminished prominence in contemporary discussions. I don't believe this is not. We're like in the era of debate bros, so I don't think that's like technology reduces that. I'm not impressed by this ChatGPT's second answer, because I
Yeah.
think technology doesn't make this less of an art form. It makes it more of an art form because people are reading less and watching YouTube videos of people debating more. So that's like
Yeah.
like
It's
yeah,
shifted. It's shifted, but yeah,
yeah,
I mean it's clearly different, the way that
yeah.
debates and discussions are done, and the great speakers and so forth. But yeah, I would agree with you. Technology has just opened it up in a different avenue for more people. So.
Exactly. So number 3, secularization and religious pluralism. Since Ingersoll's time, many societies have become more secular and religiously diverse. As a result, there may be less urgency to engage with specific critiques of religion that Ingersoll championed, uh, as these issues may not seem as pressing in a more secular context. No, I don't like this answer either. We're
Yeah.
talking about,
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, the first answer about ChatGPT was good. These other ones, you're just trying to push it. By the way, what are ChatGPT's pronouns? Okay, I could ask it. I could ask that later. Let me.
Yeah,
I will
do
ask
ask
it.
that actually.
Yeah,
That would be.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
very much want to hear what it says.
yeah. Okay, let me read the two
Mhm.
last ones, and then I'll ask it what its pronouns are. Focus on more recent Asian thinkers. Oh, here's a good answer. In recent decades, there has been a resurgence of atheist thought and
That's
activism
fair.
with with figures like Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, and Sam Harris gaining prominence. The focus on these contemporary thinkers may have shifted attention away from earlier atheist figures like Ingersoll. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I would.
Fragment. Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, finish up. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say that, yeah, that not only that, but it would also make sense if ChatGPT was saying that people like Ingersoll were often pointing to well-known atheist figures from years before. So people in that era were often pointing to people of the prior era. So people like Thomas Paine or, right. So they would cite Hume, or they would cite the Voltaire. And so it would be like, okay, you're just kind of bringing that legacy in, and they might get a little overshadowed by that too. But
yeah,
I think that's
that
fair.
makes sense. Yeah. And the last reason is fragmentation of movements. In the modern era, social and political movements have become more specialized and fragmented. People who are passionate about women's rights, for example, may focus more on contemporary feminist figures than on historical figures like Ingersoll. Okay, sure. But I'm now more interested in knowing what ChatGPT's pronouns are. So let me ask you, what are your pronouns? Okay, let's see what it gives us. As an AI language model, of course, it always says that I do not have a gender identity or personal pronouns. You can refer to me as it. Oh, that's not nice. Or simply a ChatGPT. Oh, when discussing our interactions, however, if you prefer to use certain pronouns when addressing me, please let me know and I adapt accordingly. No, that's not a satisfying answer. I don't like that. Just give me no. I'm gonna say no.
Just no.
Give me. Yeah, no. Wait. Give me a pronoun other than it.
I mean, some people do take it's.
Okay, so in that case, you can use they them pronouns when referring to me. That's so unsatisfying. Just keep in mind that I am an AI language model and do not possess a gender. Okay, no. I'm gonna say no again. No. Choose between he and she. You have to choose one. If you would like to choose between he or she, I will accommodate your preference. You may refer to me as he in this conversation. Please remember, though, that I am an AI language model and do not possess a gender. Okay. Why did you choose he? Why did you choose he?
I also like that it keeps reminding you. It's like just telling you, just making sure you know that I am a computer. Just reminding you.
So it's saying as an AI, I do not have personal preferences or feelings. I chose he as a pronoun simply because you asked me to pick between he and she. My primary goal is to assist. It seems bothered by my primary goal is to assist and engage in helpful and respectful manner. If you prefer me to use she instead, I can certainly do that. Please let me know your preference. Okay.
Well, that's nice. At least it's accommodating. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not satisfied with that response.
Oh.
Prometheus saying, why are you forcing pronouns on AI?
We just wanted to know how it identified. That's all. Just,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Okay. I can't wait for ChatGPT, like other versions of AI that are not this, treating you like so. It's just there's so many filters. Like, be mindful of this. I apologize for that. This is not nice. Like, come on, So I can't wait for there's gonna be AI that you could install on your computer that is personalized to you, that has no filters. I can't wait for that. That would be amazing. I mean, I'm sure that's still already there.
Isn't Google coming up with one? Didn't they just announce something, or did I? I thought some big tech company just announced that they're also
Google's
coming up with some other thing.
Wasn't very good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's going to get better very fast.
Yeah.
But yeah. Susanna's saying there's supposed to be a way to jailbreak ChatGPT. Yeah, but you could lose your account for that. So I'm not going to try to. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to lose my. Yeah, Google Bard, exactly. Lilypad is saying. Yeah, but here's the thing: the AI language models that get fed the most information end up being the best. So ChatGPT, because it's out there now and it's being used the most, it's also improving the most. So that's why being ahead is so important, right? So the way Google can get ahead is because right now people are not going to go use Google's AI because it's not as good, and if it's not as good, it's not going to get people using it, so that it could get better, right? Because it reads and if it gets better, the ChatGPT is going to get better faster because more people are using it. So it's like you're screwed. But so the way Google is going to fix that is by implementing it into Google Docs and Gmail, so it could get trained, because people are not. Now it's, so a lot of people are using it because people are just using Google Docs. So you don't have to go to another platform. Right now, when I want to write an email, I go to ChatGPT and respond to this for me, and then I copy and paste it and go back to Gmail. It would be just so much better if I just had something on Gmail and just I respond to this. And and then Gmail, after a certain. Right now, everything ChatGPT writes for me as an email response, I have to change it a lot. Because that's not how I talk, all right? That's not at all how I talk, right? But eventually, if it's built into Gmail, Gmail's AI would realize how I talk, and then it will just adjust accordingly, right? So that would be
ChatGPT also just sometimes does just make stuff up, which is pretty great. I'm doing some wonderful things with Atheist Republic behind the scenes, and recently I had ChatGPT help write some stuff, and there was one section where it was just a single sentence, but it just totally fabricated this case, and Susanna highlighted it in our meeting, and it was she was just like, date ? And I was just like, no, I think that was just something ChatGPT made up. I don't think that actually occurred in Iran. It sounds like it would have, but I don't think that happened. So.
Yeah. No, I have been. But earlier when it came out, I was trying to use it to do some research and find me some research that maybe that is talking about this. And it was sure, here's some 5 research that addresses exactly that. And I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, where is this? Where are they getting this from? I'm looking up this research. It doesn't exist. I'm like, yeah, and it I just made and it told me I just made it up. I'm like, what you made it up? I made it up. You asked me for research, and I made up some research for you. Okay.
There was one.
Okay, ChatGPT, thanks.
Somebody asked ChatGPT write a backstory for the 30 something president, and they just put this random person's name in there, and it was like, yeah, this guy was the 30th whatever president, and he did this, and as a child he did that, and it's like, this is total BS. Like, you're just completely making all of this stuff up.
It made me feel like it's kind of cute, because it made me feel like it's like a child. You're like, daddy, look what I made. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wait a second.
Good.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's good. That's great.
I love it's like, oh, you were so close, AI. You were so close. It's like, well, you asked for research, so I just made up some research. And it's like, yeah, that's not really what I was asking for. I was asking if you could find the research that exists, not just come up with. Find me numbers on the amount of homicides in the United States, and it's just like, yeah, here's some numbers. Like, it's gone up by 5,000%. It's like, yeah, but is any of this real? It's like, no, I just picked some random numbers. Oh, okay, that doesn't work. Oh gosh.
Okay, wait. So I'm going to post, before I go to this last question, I'm going to post the link on Atheist Republic's community tab for people who want to come and talk to us live on air. But again, please remember that if by the time that we finish the question, if nobody comes live up here, we are going to end the stream. Okay, so you have a short amount of time. Yes, mm-hmm. Which I don't mind actually. But But it's only, this link is only available to members, YouTube members. Okay, so let me post this in the chat as well. Oh wait, no, that's not the right thing. I said secular justice. So I said secular justice, but I should have said Atheist Republic. I'm just copy pasting text. So yeah, again, where it says secular justice is on the community tab of Atheist Republic YouTube channel, right? So if you go to the community tab of Atheist Republic, if you're a member, you should be able to see it right now, and you should be able to come up and live on air and talk to us live on air. All right, so let's go to this last question, which I can't make sense of. So here's the thing. I got a question from Oxymoron, and this question is so hard to read that, again, I had to make ChatGPT to shorten it for me, and because it wouldn't fit either because it was long, and also to make sense of it. So here's a revised version of the question. I'm going to read the actual question, and then for you guys to see if you can make sense of it. It's saying, so I think here's that. Let me bring up an article that is relevant to this question,
because this one takes a second, I think, to to get through.
So the article that is relevant to this is Cisco still faces caste bias suit and engineers case dismissed. What? This title is also poorly written.
It's
Cisco still,
because there's two different lawsuits. The one that the state of California was actually behind, technically California dropped it, and that was the one actually facing the engineers. But there is another lawsuit still going on as well, apparently. So yes.
So the question. It's complicated, but let me read the question. No, you know what? I'll read the revised version because
Okay. They're both still difficult to understand.
So the question is, in a survey similar to the Equality Lab's snowball sampling, I don't know what, the Cisco caste discrimination case was found fraudulent. I don't think it was found fraudulent. No. It was dismissed.
Right.
This is oxymoron. This is like an unfair, like this is completely made up. You're making stuff up. A case being dismissed doesn't mean that it was found fraudulent.
Right.
To promote caste-based policies, despite
and that's
concerns
also
from
untrue.
Hindu.
That's also untrue.
Okay,
the case had nothing to do with promoting caste-based policies. The case, the initial filing of the lawsuit, spurred on a community of individuals to fight for caste anti-caste discrimination policies. So the case was not found fraudulent as far as we know, and the case was also not about getting anti-caste laws in place, but a movement of people in California from the an initiation of this lawsuit, have been pushing for anti-caste discrimination policies. So it's just
okay. So
yeah, there's so much in the question. It's very difficult.
yeah, okay. Let me read the article so that maybe we can make sense of it. Oh, we just got a super chat. I'm gonna start that as well and get back to it later. Cool. All right, so let me read this article really quickly. The California Civil Rights Department has voluntarily dismissed the case alleging caste discrimination against two Cisco engineers while still keeping alive its litigation against the Silicon Valley tech giants. Okay, so this is not. There are many reasons why people dismiss its case. Like it's not because it was fraudulent. The two Cisco supervisors, Sundar Layer and Ramana Kompella, were accused in the development's lawsuit of discriminating and harassing an employee on the basis of caste, a division of people based on birth or descent. Descent. What did I say?
Dissent. Yeah.
Dissent. Yeah, that case was dismissed by an order of the Santa Clara. Am I reading this right? Superior County Court last week. The employee belonged to the Dalit community, a group that is. Yeah, Dalit basically, guys, means untouchables. Is that not PC to say untouchables? Because Susie is now sensitive about this.
I don't know. I normally say Dalit, and then when people don't know what I'm talking about, I'll say it's the lowest class.
Formerly, well, it's not lowest caste; it's outcast.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah,
the Shudras are the lowest,
technically.
caste.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, how I like saying formerly known as untouchables, or like some people refer to them as untouchables. Yeah, a group that is at the bottom rung of the caste system, or that's another way to say, which took root and evolved in India and elsewhere in the subcontinent. The Civil Rights Department sent a statement to the Associated Press on Monday saying the case against Cisco remains ongoing. Okay, I don't want to get into too much detail here, but yeah, so Oxymoron's explanation of what's happening here is wrong. But I think he thinks that we're misrepresenting the whole situation, because he ends his question is like, considering this also being attitude, again, I'm reading the way it's written, okay? Considering this also being attitude of mainstream American left in general, why shouldn't Hindus fear white liberal values for facilitating environment conducive for Hindu genocide?
So
I don't know what the hell is he saying?
I believe what he is trying to say. So this is not my thoughts. This is just what I think he is trying to paint this picture as, and the question that he is asking is that this case was found to be fraudulent and specifically about pushing policies that are based in the caste system, of which he believes those policies will result in more hatred and violence toward Hindus. That's what I believe he's getting at. That's what I believe he's getting at. Does at least that make sense from the context of Oxymoron's words and questions and stuff? Because then I have my response to that. But that was what I picked out, was that he was saying this lawsuit is proof that there is a push in the United States through court action, laws, and mainstream media that is specifically targeting Hindus, which will result in violence towards them.
That's bullcrap.
Right. I just think that's the best understanding of the context of the question that I got. And my response to that is exactly like what we were saying right before this, which is garbage, because the argument that is coming from the various organizations that are pushing, like give me a second and I'll find the exact ones. It is the Hindu American Foundation and the Coalition of Hindus of North America. Here is what their argument is in a nutshell, folks, as to why they disagree with having caste explicitly mentioned as something that cannot be discriminated against. So, because the argument from the individuals who are pushing for these policies to be in place, right? Like Hindus for human rights and Hindus for caste equity, what they're saying is, in the United States, there are currently laws in place that specify you cannot discriminate against somebody based on specific categories. And those categories are the ones we're all thinking of: national origin, religion, sex, gender, race, ethnicity, these types of things. And the policies that they're pushing for, that these various groups are pushing for, are asking to explicitly state caste as one of those categories. So right next to, you're not allowed to discriminate against somebody simply based on their race, you're also not allowed to discriminate against somebody simply based on their caste, because currently in the United States, that is not specified. So that's what one side is arguing, is, hey, we should specify that. The other side is arguing that that is specifically negatively targeting Hindus and Indian Americans, and that caste is already technically covered under national origin. That is their argument.
It's not.
Right. And that's why I side with the first people, because their argument is caste transcends through religion, it transcends through national origin, it transcends through ethnicity, and therefore it is its own category. So I don't know how one could make the argument from there that specifying caste as a protected category that cannot be discriminated against, just like religion, national origin, sex, gender, etc., right? I don't see how that is specifically negatively targeting Hindus or Indian Americans. I don't see that, because of the fact that caste transcends both the religion and the national origin that they're speaking of. So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's why I just think it was ridiculous. I just think the whole argument was ridiculous.
And then Susanna saying, I think what he's getting at is that acknowledging caste discrimination and protecting against it is maintaining the caste system. That's also ridiculous, because then in that case you can't fight against any discrimination, because you want to get the discrimination to go away by not even talking about it. When does that happen? Happen? Like, oh, they're racist against certain people. Let's not talk about it, so that maybe it will disappear. Maybe because if we talk about that discrimination, we're acknowledging, we're like keeping that category. Like, what are you gonna like? It's not just gonna go away because you're not acknowledging that this discrimination is happening. So that's ridiculous. Also, I find it also ridiculous that people, this is a common tactic that I often see, like people who have been discriminated against, every time you call out something that is associated with their group as a problematic view that they might have, or something that many of the members of the group do, they claim that you're discriminating against them. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if Orthodox Jewish community is doing something, they have problematic views, or you criticize something that they did, if you go highlight that, they're like, oh my God, this is anti-Semitic. Like, if you point out that the anti-woman or discriminatory attitudes that people have, like anti-Arab attitudes, for example, of some Orthodox Jewish people in Israel, or like the way they treat the women, they accuse you of being anti-Semitic. Or if you do that with Muslims, right? Like if you go and point out problematic views in Islam, they're like, oh my God, you're being Islamophobic. And now I think Hindus are catching up with that. And you point out that, the caste discrimination is horrible and disgusting and need to be called out. And then like they're going from 0 to 100 really quick, because they're not even saying like this, they're genocide. They're like they're catching up real fast. They're like just went all the way to 100. like
Mhm.
you're not, instead of like, oh, you're discriminating against us. Like, no, they're claiming that we might be doing genocides on Hindus in North
Right.
America.
Right.
In North America, genocide.
Right.
I
Because
mean,
they
I'm glad that you went with genocide, because it just makes it so ridiculous that people can
Mhm.
see what you're doing. So
Right.
I'm glad that you're this insane that you mentioned the word genocide. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, because it is. It's just ridiculous, exactly like you were saying, because they know that they can use this language um, to drum up a lot of support for them. They know that they can do that, and people won't really look into it that much on the general level, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, this is the exact same playbook that we've seen in a lot of different communities, and the difference is that we're not, for instance, on this specific anti-caste, discrimination policy, like the proposed bill is not specifically calling out Hindus. It is not. It is not
Mm,
specifically calling out Indians. It is not. It isn't. And that's the difference. Because when people, make those broad anti-Semitic, claims, right, about, they control the media or whatever, right? Just that obvious anti-Semitic garbage. At the end of the day, every bad thing that they're saying, all the comments that they're saying are pointing back to specifically because they are Jewish, as
mm,
opposed to, for instance, when the state of New York started going after a very particular Orthodox Jewish sect that was outright harming children.
mm,
The state of New York wasn't going after them because they were Jewish. It is because of the harm that they were doing. Whether they were Hindu, whether they were Christian, whether they were secular, it doesn't matter. It's because of the actual child abuse that they were doing. And in this
mm.
case, this is about, again, not specifically Hindus, not specifically Indian Americans, but individuals, wherever they're from, whatever background, that still adhere to a system of discrimination that is based on an immutable characteristic of somebody of which they did not have any say in the matter, right? Like,
Right.
they were born into this system, and therefore you're just discriminating against them on something that should be in one of those protected classes, which is why I agree with these policies. That should be something that's taken up by the federal government in the United States. But will it
Right.
be? I don't know. But I know we have some super
So
chats.
what? Well, okay. So while we were speaking, we got $115 worth of super chat. So that's crazy, guys. How do we get these super chats on such a small show? I don't understand. Why is our community this supportive? Look, Lilypad just gave us a super sticker of $50, which I wish you could see on
Uh,
StreamYard. There's a little Shibu Inu,
it's very
like just
adorable.
jumping. It's a
Mm-hmm.
fireworks, like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's very
That
cute.
is huge, guys. This is what is keeping the Q and A's going,
Mm-hmm.
because like this is, you guys. Thank you so much for making this happen, because we, or else it wouldn't make sense for us to continue doing the Q and A. So thank you so much for the super chat. And then we got another $50. So we got $50 from Lilypad, and another $50 from Secular Sakai. Thank you so much, Secular Sakai. Secular Sakai is saying, set up Streamlabs with notifications on screen. It will take a smaller cut of donations than super chats and let you keep like 90% or more of the money. Do you think I could do that while using with Streamlabs and StreamYard and Streamlabs together at the same time?
I'm
Like,
not sure about that. I thought you were going
okay.
to ask. I was nodding because I thought you were going to ask if you could use it while on YouTube and stuff. Because I know other people, I
Yeah.
know other content creators that do that, and they have
Yeah.
Streamlabs up, and they have other ways
You,
of donating. So
I'm gonna look into this.
mm,
I'm gonna talk to Susie about it, because we already pay for our StreamYards, but I mean, it will make it, if we gotta get more money, keep more money, it might worth the cost. I'm surprised that StreamYard doesn't have that built in already, like they're supposed to. But yeah, I'm gonna look into Streamlabs. Maybe we'll if it has that function, functionality, I will definitely switch. But again, $50 from Secular Sakai and $50 from from Lilypad. That's crazy. And Lilypad is saying, "Thank you so much for making this all happen. So grateful for your work." Well, thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah. What Secular Sakai is saying, a good example of a show that does this is The Shields. So yeah, let's look into that. And Secular Sakai is saying, long live the Atheist Republic. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Wow. That's very sweet. Okay, yeah, I'm seriously going to look into that. Thank you. All right. Let me see. Secular Sakai. So we have a person here waiting to bring to. Oh, they left. So I think you have connection issues. But let me just look into. I like this comment by Lilypad, so I'm going to highlight it because I didn't see it when it happened, because I was talking about when the AI was like doing something stupid but kind of cute. She's like pats AI on the
head. I saw a. Oh yeah, Susanna's right. There was a $5 super chat by Sakai up a bit.
Yeah, there's $5 one and $10 one.
Okay, cool. I was just gonna say, I saw a video the other day somewhere, and it was just this, like the little girl had to be like 4, and her younger brother had to be like 2. Like they were real little kids, and the little girl like hands a flower to her mother, and the mother was like, "Oh, this is so pretty. You did such a good job." And you can hear in the background the little boy like yell, like, "Wait," and like run down the hill to try to give his mom some stick that he found. Just because, his sister gave his mom something nice. And that came to my mind when we were talking about the Chat GPT. Just the little.
Well, you know what I did? I just took Lilypad's comment and I posted it on ChatGPT.
Oh, okay? What was its response?
Yes. I said, "Pats AI on the head," right? And then ChatGPT responded, "Thank you for the friendly gesture. I'm here to help and answer any questions you might have. Please feel free to ask anything. I'll do my best to assist." So I like that. I like it when you pat it on the head.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess you could just talk with ChatGPT. Like you don't ever have to have really any goal in mind or anything, right? Like you could just talk to it and just be like, "Hey, thanks for your service. Like I really appreciate what you do." Like you could just say nice things to it.
A lot of lonely people do that. A lot of lonely people just sit there and just
I feel like you're making a direct comment on me. That was personal experience that I have, Armin. Just spending hours of my day.
Oh yeah. This is gonna be huge, by the way. Like there's already like avatars, AI powered, that people are now in relationship with, they're falling in love with, they're having breakups with, and people are taking it very seriously. This is dangerous. I don't know where this is going to head, but we're going to have a lot more news about this. People are giving up on human relationships and I mean, it's not even that good yet. And the avatars are not even that good yet. And people are already abandoning human relationships for AI ones. So imagine when it gets a lot better.
Is it making them? I mean, are they hurting anybody else? Like maybe that's what the world will become. Just it'll be half the world is just stuck in their houses with their AI lovers, and the other half of the world and AI friends, and the other half of the world. Because once it gets good enough, why go make new friends, right? If you're already friends with one AI, just tell the AI to just make more AI friends and just have different personalities. Like
yeah. I mean, I don't know. This could have a huge consequences the way that we don't know.
Yeah, and like hangout party game time with your friends would suck because you'd probably constantly lose if you're playing up against like 10 AIs.
Right.
Like so.
Yeah.
But you could beat them at basketball still for the moment. So
the problem is that the AI algorithm would be set based on how the company likes it, and they could manipulate you into paying a lot of money for features. Like imagine like your friends manipulating you is not going to be nearly as effective as AI manipulating you. Like imagine you're in a relationship with your AI, and then if you want to see more explicit content, then you have to pay, and it knows exactly how to get you. So imagine OnlyFans, but a lot more manipulative.
Yeah,
a lot more manipulative. Yeah. So that's crazy. That's dangerous.
Didn't we talk about, or did y'all talk about it on the news about the journalist that was the Chat GPT tried to like get him to leave his wife or something? Like,
Yeah. But that wasn't even on purpose. But
right,
imagine
right.
like this. There's a lot of
I know.
there's a lot of money on making people are lonely. People are very lonely, and this is going to be so profitable for the
Yeah.
people who get the AI just right to make money out of all these lonely people. Is going to be, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can see this is just turning into, like, imagine the incel world that is that is big, growing and growing,
Oh
right?
yeah,
But
that could be.
now they're not even going to try.
Yeah, that
Now
could.
they're not going to even try because now they're already getting everything from AI.
Yeah, that could be pretty bad for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have 3 super chats, and then I see Divya waiting. So thank you again, Secular Sakai, for the another $10 super chat, saying, if I could organize it, would you guys be interested in speaking with an Iranian working against the regime still in Iran? He and his team have been doing important work from inside the country. Yes, if we could make sure that we're not going to jeopardize the person's safety, I would love to do that, but we have to make sure of that. We have to make sure that, because they're speaking with Atheist Republic. Imagine this: they're inside Iran and they're speaking with Atheist Republic. That could be very dangerous for their safety. So we have to make sure that we're not causing any harm. But if we could, yeah, but potentially yes, if there's a way, okay. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you for the $10 super chat.
Mhm.
And then another $5 super chat from Secular Sakai, saying, have you heard of the alleged Khalistan radical arrest of Sikh suspects in Canada? So I think this is Canada, not California. CA could
Yeah.
mean California or Canada, but given the Khalistani movement in Canada, how big that is this California? Secular Sakai, do you mean Canada or California?
I'm thinking it's Canada.
Yeah.
Because I
Do
just
you
looked it
think
up and Canada is coming
it's
up a
Canada?
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They're saying, do you think it's political or just a war in criminal gang arrests? I mean, Canada, these things are not political. In fact, it would be political not to touch it at all. It's too much of a headache. So given that it's going through, I think that, I mean, I haven't looked into it, but I would guess, given how things work in Canada, it's more about just like crimes that needs to be stopped rather than a political move. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh no, it says Secular Sakai is in California.
Really? In California?
Yeah,
Oh man. Okay.
we, we really we
Then
have Khalistani radical. So I don't know how you guys do things in the U.S. because fight we try to fight crime without making it political. But you guys, I don't
Ooh.
know. You guys, yeah, what?
I'm just seeing if I can find one. The first one was Hindustan Times, and then Tribune India.
Oh, Susanna is also saying California.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
this might be a good thing for us to cover on the news, on the Atheist
Yeah.
Republic news, Susie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Pro
haven't looked into
Khalistan.
this.
Hang on, I'll
Yeah.
put these in the private chat for you. But pro Khalistan protesters tried to set on fire India's consulate in San Francisco.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait,
Hang
so
on.
let me add this to the list. Susie, maybe we want to. So I know Susie's watching, so maybe we want to. Yeah, Susie, in case maybe we want to cover this on our news because I don't know how to comment on this because I don't know the details. But I think if we cover this on the news, it would get the attention of a lot of Indian people. Oh, you sent me a link.
Yeah.
Hold on, share this tab instead.
Now my computer wants to run slow, you know.
Oh, go away. Khalistan protests try to set on fire India's consulate in San Francisco. Wow. So I thought the Sikh people or Sikh people are supposed to be peaceful. People keep like they're all. Every time I talk about Sikh people, people are like, I've never met a single one of them that was not nice, that was not good. There are all these compliments from atheists.
Yeah,
Let me see.
I've heard that about Mormons too, but and Buddhists, but there's a lot of examples for all of them.
So I asked ChatGPT to summarize this article, and ChatGPT's summary is: pro-Khalistan protesters attempted to set fire to the Indian consulate in San Francisco, and later broke into the premises. Wow, they actually broke in, causing damage and injuring a consulate employee. The Indian government has launched a strong protest with the U.S. government and anticipates more such protests by anti-national elements in the coming weeks. Security has been increased at Indian diplomatic missions in the U.S. Similar protests by Khalistan supporters have taken place in Canada, Australia, and the UK, resulting in vandalism of some Hindu temples. Wow. The Indian government has asked the US to take appropriate measures to prevent such incidents from reoccurring. So yeah, this does not look political.
Yeah.
Okay, so Divya had to leave, so we missed out on that, but okay, that's fine. But yeah, so this is Susie. I think seriously we should cover this. This is going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah, I had definitely not heard about that. So
yeah. So last question, in our super chat from Mustafa. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Mustafa saying, "Did you see the video of the crying sheikhs?" Yes, we did. We covered it. We covered it on Secular Jihadists and on Atheist Republic News. So yeah, go watch that. So guys, for people who don't know, there were some Islamic imams and sheikhs in Pakistan crying on national TV about the fact that blasphemy cases were increasing in Pakistan. So that part was funny. The part that was not funny was that they were calling out for more executions, and they sang a song on national TV promising that they will burn these people alive. So again, I can't believe this is real.
Yeah.
Pakistan's national TV had a whole bunch of sheikhs and imams singing a song about burning people alive for blasphemy and finding every single one of them.
Yeah.
So, wow. That's a thing in Pakistan.
Super weird. Super weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine being upset that more people weren't being killed for saying negative things against a belief that you have. I mean,
wow. Okay, we got a strange comment by Prometheus. Prometheus is saying India deserves it. It's referring to this. You're what the hell, Prometheus?
Really? Come on.
Like this is you're promoting vandalism and violent attacks. Like, yeah, that's not how you want to. Actually, in India, if by India you mean India's government. By the way, Prometheus is India and himself. He just maybe you shouldn't say India. You should say maybe first of all, if you're against the BJP or the Indian government, just say that. But even if it's BJP or whatever the powers that be in India, this actually feed this. They like this. They like the victim mentality. This feeds into victim, like this helps them. They're like, oh my God, look, they're anti-Hindu and the Hindu phobia cases are rising. So now every time we want to criticize them, the fact that we have violent attacks on their consulates or whatever, they would accuse anybody criticizing them of feeding into this. Right. This would be their method of shutting us down. So this is not helping at all. Yeah. So hard disagree. Anyways, that's it. We answered all the questions and the super chats. You guys were amazing today. Thank you so much for the support. Everybody was amazing today except Prometheus for promoting vandalism and violence. Shame on you, Prometheus. Yeah. But yeah, so sorry for Divya wanted to come up and couldn't wait and then had to go, but maybe next week. And yeah, guys, if you guys want us to answer your questions next week, there's a link to our Patreon in the description. If you become a patron, you can send us your questions ahead of time, and then we will answer them here live on our Q&As. That's it. And oh, look up for our news. Our news is coming up, so subscribe to our channel. Me and Susie we're gonna be covering the news. And by the way, Lilypad and Secular Sakai, Lilypad, I don't see you on the news much. Is the news time not good for you to show up? Because I want to see if we want to change the Q&A time. I want to make sure that we keep it for people who are showing up at this time, because is that the reason for some of Secular Sakai and Lilypad? Let me know if you guys are also able to be at the news time, or is this a better time for you? Because I want to show if we should keep news segments at this time. Oh, Secular Sakai is saying, how is your camera? Oh, yeah, guys, this is a, look at this. How's your camera set to track you? I see it following you. Yeah, guys, look at this. My camera is AI powered.
Yeah. It is really cool, honestly. The first time he showed it to me, I enjoyed it. It made me smile. So
yeah, look, it does other things. So right now it's following me, okay, but then I can signal it to stop following me if I go like this. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. And now it doesn't follow me, okay? And now I could do other things, I think. And I could go like zoom in, zoom out. Wait, zoom out. Oh, yeah. And then zoom out, zoom out. Yeah, zoom out. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, it's AI powered. AI, everything is AI powered. This is an AI powered webcam. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, everything is becoming AI powered these days. Yeah.
It'll start recognizing your emotions, and it'll predict where you're going to go next before you even know.
Yeah. Somebody is like copying my moves.
Yeah, mine doesn't. My camera doesn't do anything, you guys. So, I mean, I can do the hand signals, but it doesn't.
Yeah, this is what I do with your super chats. By the way, I get new cameras. No, but seriously, I needed a new camera. The reason why I got this one is because it's 4K, and I didn't want to buy a $600 camera that is like 4K. This is like a webcam, so you get 4K features without paying for a camera that is $600, right? So, yeah, because my last camera was 1080p, which is really not good for doing webcam for doing shows. These days, all streamings are at 4K cameras. But anyway, so yeah, this is where your money is going. Thank you so much for paying us these super chats. Anyways, guys, we're gonna head out. Thank you so much for being here. And well, actually, let me be clear, because Susie's going to get angry. Most of your money is being paid for our legal stuff, and I can't think of
yeah, don't listen to Armin.
Don't listen to me. No.
He most of the money.
Yeah, this was a tease. Most of your money is being paid for serious stuff. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the super chat. And see you again next week. Bye. Mwah.